Welcome to the Line Podcast. Great to be back with you and bring you another episode. This is the Thursday episode, which is a follow-on now from the Tuesday episodes. So we've got some great content for you today. I'm really excited to be joined, as always, by my co-host, Lee Lawton. Great to see you today, Lee.
Good morning.
And I'm really excited because I love coming into the studio and recording these. I'm glad we got our frequency back and our rhythm back after that little hiatus. But we spoke on the previous episode, and one of the things we mentioned is just by surrounding yourself by people who are on the same wavelength. And I love that we're getting so much feedback from people who really have managed to change their lives from what we've been giving out. But personally, I'm loving just coming in and recording these episodes and really just growing and developing self.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, it's funny because every time we talk about something, I notice those things coming up in my life more, and it's just helps with my personal development so much to record these. And as we've said in previous podcasts, we're both on our own journey. We're by far from perfect. And like when we did the self-doubt one, I had a dose of self-doubt that afternoon. It just came on and I was like, exactly what Tom was talking about on the podcast. Sometimes you wake up full of confidence in the morning and self-doubt creeps in the afternoon. So yeah, it's as beneficial for us as I think it is for the listeners, which is awesome.
And if you are getting benefit from it, as we said before, please do share the show. We're trying to grow and change lives. And if you want to surround yourself by people who are winners, then share this with your friends and become winners together. So today we are talking about some of the changes we see coming up in the world. So this is going to be a really interesting topic. I love when Lee goes off on this stuff. And it's probably going to fill me with self-doubt when I leave here. But there are changes that are definitely going to happen in the world soon. And, you know, we can do stuff to embrace that change, to win with that change and capitalize on that change. So, Lee, floor's yours, dude. And I look forward to discussing this with you.
Yeah, so there are a few things in here that might make people think, holy shit. There's that saying, and I can't remember it exactly because I'm shit with quotes, but give me the strength and ability to change the things I can and the wisdom to realize the things I can't.
Lord, grant me serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference.
That
degree.
Yes.
I love that. I love that quote.
Yeah. So basically, there are some things that we can't change, but as long as you know that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. Like we discussed in the last episode. And if you haven't listened to that, go listen to it. We can basically deal with whatever happens. There is an answer to everything. So yeah, the first one is hyperinflation.
Cool. As a property owner, I love this.
But I mean, if hyperinflation comes, having your money in property is not a bad thing because the prices will skyrocket. And but basically, a lot's going to happen in the financial world. I don't know if it's exactly going to be hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is quite extreme, but it's probably going to the currencies are probably going to inflate a hell of a lot. And the one single reason I say this is during COVID, they printed off over 200 years worth of money in 6 months. And if you know anything about like economy and GDP and inflation and GDP and how they balance each other out, we can't handle the economy cannot handle that. So I don't know if we'll talk about the things we can do to help with these changes.
Yeah, I think we don't need to go into these topics in too much detail.
No.
Like money's like the way money's used is going to change
massively,
and the value of money is going to change. The one thing I would say in terms of that, and I've always said it with investments, is diversity. Yeah, like make sure you are diversifying where you're investing your money, but also and Andy says this, be undeniably good at what you do so that you can always exchange what you do for or create value with what you do to exchange it for whatever the finance is that's coming. Whether that's Bitcoin, whether it's exchanging, you know, like I am going to give my service to you and then you're going to give me food back as a result. Like that's the two ways I'd come at it. Diversify where you're investing your finances and make yourself undeniably good. So whatever happens, you provide value to your community.
And continuously learning. And that gets into the next one, which I believe you've got written down as one of your points. So
the workforce.
Yeah.
And I think it links in with AI for me really is that the way business is done, the way that we provide value is going to change. We see so many jobs being taken away by AI, which it's I think it needs. I was interested in talking to someone the other day whose company is starting to regulate our AI. But there's so many jobs that people are doing nowadays that just won't exist because that's changing. And the workforce is changing.
Yeah.
You look at the generation that's growing up who can't hold a conversation. They can't critically analyze something. They can't make a decision by themselves. How on earth are they going to contribute to a workforce? So for me, that's scary that there is so many people, yet there are going to be so few jobs. But in that, again, if you make yourself really valuable, up your skills, and I would say, like, niche your skill. If you become the jack of all, then you're vanilla to someone who's employing. But if you're really good at something, I'm going to invest in you and take you on.
Yeah. So a couple of things that I would just say on there is be very careful what that thing, if you do decide to niche into something, be very careful what it is. Because if you put in hundreds and thousands of hours into learning something and then it's replaced like that.
Yes.
I didn't plan to talk about this, but I think that the world is going to turn into a more of a creator economy. So I think everybody will be a personal brand and everybody will be building their own personal thing. And I think, yes, loads of jobs will be lost and destroyed and just will not exist anymore, but there will be new jobs created. So I was very resistant to AI when I first heard about it, like a long time ago. And I think, and I don't like the fact that it's replacing creatives. I really don't like that. Like people who do graphic design and digital art, they basically have just been wiped off the face of the earth because there's now like Mid-Journey and things like that. That's AI generated art and it's ridiculous what it can do. But the fact is, and I am a realist and not an idealist, but the fact is, if we don't embrace it and if we don't move with it, we will be left behind. Now, there are lines in the sand. I will not have anything implanted in my body. I don't take paracetamol, so I'm damn sure not getting a chip in the back of my brain. And that will make a divide in the world. People with that will be superhuman. And people without it will be a different civilization.
They'll be human, and
they'll be human.
Have the human experience.
Which is what we're designed to have here. Humans shouldn't be playing God, in my opinion. So yes, there are going to be a massive change. But one thing I will say is there are skills. I know you said don't be a jack of all trade, but there are a set of skills that you can build. And I'm fortunate or wise or clever or saw it ahead of time, but marketing, sales, copywriting, editing, like video production, creative production. Yes, a lot of it is being replaced with AI, but I think if we work together with AI in those areas, and you will always need to sell something, but the corporations are going to crumble, I believe, along with governments. And that's a topic for another day. But a lot of the structure that we see is not going to exist in the next 5 to 10 years, hopefully, because we either go one way where it's this totalitarian government state where everyone's plugged into the metaverse and the matrix and they're all controlled by the powers that be, or we go the total other way to nirvana and enlightenment and freedom, true freedom, where we're not being told what to do. But only time will tell, I guess. But definitely be prepared and just try and have some foresight and see what's coming.
Yeah, I think you're right. When I say super niche, you've niched into an area, but you've got the skills within that. So, you're not just mono skilled in there. No. You've got the need. Really interesting to talk about the AI replacing like art. I started watching a DC film the other day, Flash or something. I don't know what it's called. It was pretty much all you could tell. It was all animated.
The whole thing's CGI.
And you're looking like is that a human or is that an animation? I stopped watching it because I could tell it's not people, and I just think, as much as I don't like the Hollywood industry, like all those people are gone. Like it's just computers now.
Yeah, well, they're on strike. There's Hollywood and the actors and good.
Yeah,
I hope they all do go. They should all go get jobs
and stop filling kids.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway,
100% they should
we
stop
talked
doing
about
it.
Fat Santa, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's an inside joke. Anyway, what's next on the chain?
But yeah, the Hollywood, just to touch on Hollywood, not in that area, but a different, they're on strike at the minute. Actors and writers are on strike at the minute, and they want Netflix to release their numbers, and Netflix are not releasing their numbers. But I think the reason Netflix won't release their numbers, and this isn't my original thought, Andrew Schultz, the comedian, said this the other day on one of the platforms, but he said Netflix won't release their numbers because their value is based on their stock price. And he thinks that if Netflix release their numbers, it's actually going to prove that nobody's fucking watching it. The shit films that they're putting out all the time, nobody's watching it, which will plummet their stock price and put the actors and the writers out of business anyway. So by this Actors and Writers Guild strike, they're actually fucking themselves because they're trying to get Netflix to release the numbers, which probably aren't as good as they think they are.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but interesting fact.
Cool. What else is going to change, Lee?
So this one's a bit deep,
Right.
but I think there's going to be more mandates for vaccines.
Yeah.
And the reason I want to touch on this, and this podcast will probably reach nobody now that I've said this, but I think that they made too much money from these vaccines for them to not try it again. They're trying to usher in the CBDC and the social credit system. And along with that comes the medical passports. They want digital medical details, to everyone to have digital medical details. And I think that they're going to, the reason I think this is because they say it all the fucking time. All the time, these people, Bill Gates and the president of America and everyone, they keep saying the next pandemic, the next pandemic, the next pandemic. And how can they say that? Like, why are they saying things like that when there's not been one for years? I think the last major one was like the Spanish flu, was it? Like the real bad ones. Not that COVID was a bad one, because it wasn't. It was just the flu. But yeah, more mandates. I don't think they're done with the jabs. And I just want to touch on this because when the jab came out, immediately I was like, no way am I doing that. I'm not taking that. It's too soon. I don't trust the government. I'm not fucking taking a jab. I don't take paracetamol, so I'm not taking a jab. Told people around me, all my loved ones, please do your own research. It's your body. Do what you want, but please, please, please do your own research. Look into how long it takes for vaccines to be approved as safe. And everyone told me I was fucking nuts. And now those same people are saying, no way am I taking another vaccine. If I've got to have a vaccine to get in the supermarket, there's no way I'll do that. And it's like, well, you fucking did it before.
I know. And I think this one comes in my body, my choice.
Yes.
A lot of people who've had the vaccines have realized that it's not been good for their body. Like I've seen a lot of people who've been hurt by them.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm sitting here and saying in an anti-vax way, which is the media portraying to make it look like these people are crazy. What I would say is just use some common sense and look at the world around you.
Yeah.
Like, have thousands of people been dying unnecessarily? No. Have you had a reaction from the stuff that you've taken? Possibly. And just make a decision based on what you want. And if we don't critically think, then we're really going to hit in trouble, because we're then being told what to do without our own decision making being put in place.
This is the problem.
And it really is your choice what you want to do, and your human rights should be in that choice.
Yeah.
And allowing you to continue to live your life no matter what choice you're made.
Yes.
What I thought was really interesting with the mask mandates, the notion they used and the spin they used on this was, wear your mask to protect others.
Yeah.
Which physiologically and biologically doesn't actually make any sense.
No.
It's exactly the same as saying, hold the umbrella over your own head to stop the person next to you getting wet.
Yeah.
We just need to pause and critically think. And I think with any of these changes that are coming in the world, when you see the change, don't just run with the tide.
No.
Pause and think about it.
Yeah. You said it there perfectly before. 2 words, common sense. Like, just think about what's been said. If the government are offering you donuts and cheeseburgers and money to take a vaccine, there's a reason that they're offering you these things. I almost said, don't fucking do it then. But that was my thought. If they're having to coerce, what is the Nuremberg Code? No human should be coerced into taking any medication that they don't want to take, basically, paraphrased. Totally out the fucking window nowadays. So totally out the window. So yeah, just think critically. Don't just do what you're told just because the government are saying to do it. And if you want to really look into it, Dr. John Campbell on YouTube is amazing. He's not a conspiracy theorist like me. He only looks at peer-reviewed studies and actual facts and actual released documents. So what he does is he has a camera. Have you seen him?
I'm not.
There's a camera above. He's got old school, like he's an old dude. He's got a fountain pen and a piece of paper, and he goes through the studies and talks through them. And he's talking a lot at the moment about all of the excess deaths and the ones that are in Australia specifically, because it's a enclosed study sort of thing. And they didn't have COVID there in 2021, and their excess death rate skyrocketed from 2 months after the vaccine was started rolling out. And I'm not saying it was that. Do your own research, but there's definitely something to it. So please just be aware. And I'm quite happy to talk about this stuff because I don't give a shit.
Well, you do give a shit because you care about.
I do give it. Yeah, I don't give a shit
And I
what
think this
people think,
comes
and
in-
I don't give a shit about being censored, and I don't care about any backlash that I'm going to get from it, because I believe that there's more important things at play.
Yeah, and I think this is important for a personal development show because, you know, we're trying to better our lives, and that comes from sovereignty. And sovereignty is ownership of your own life and your own experience and your own choices.
Yeah.
And if you want to better your life and improve your situation, you need to take your own personal responsibility. And you may choose to go along and get vaccinated because that's the choice you've made. But make sure you make that choice.
Yes.
Don't go into things because face value you've just been told that's the thing that you should do.
And I think a lot less people are doing that now after what they've seen happen and after they've seen the media coercing with big pharma and things like that. So I think I know a lot of people who blindly went ahead before who are now awake, which is very refreshing to see. And then the last thing I've got here, and a lot of these are technology related because that's sort of the world I'm in, but I don't think we'll have phones in the next 3 to 5 years.
Interesting.
I don't think.
I hope we don't, but do you think it'll be replaced by something worse?
Yes.
Oh.
I think it'll be augmented reality glasses, and I think everybody will be wearing them.
Fuck that.
And then eventually contact lenses. But I don't think we'll have a phone. I think that we're very used to this. The phone's in our palms, but I think it'll be past. The reason I say that is because Apple have just released their headset, and at the minute it's like a big headset, but it's not going to be like that forever. And it's basically you sit there, and it's not VR where you're in a different world. It's AR where it's augmented reality. So I could be sat here and have 200-inch screens just there, and I can see everything. And how do you control the Apple glasses? No controller. It tracks your finger. So you just point like that. And then when you want to click on something, you just go.
Gross.
So, but this is another thing where, yes, nobody wants to do it. And eventually at some point, we'll be walking through the street with these things on, and there'll be augmented reality.
Like New York and big TVs and stuff.
Augmented reality, like billboards and stuff like that. Yeah.
But with huge confirmation bias, because not everyone will be seeing the same thing. You'll be seeing the thing that you'll
be in an echo chamber. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad my work is with my hands.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing that I think is gonna change. And what I would say on that is, yes, it seems scary, but just like social media, if you follow a bunch of shit pages, you will be fed a bunch of shit. If you follow us, you will be fed personal development content. You are the curator of what you see on social media. So I used to think, social media is bad. It's fucking kills. It's ruining everybody. And it is ruining attention spans. But you get to decide what you're being fed. Your feed's only shit because you follow shit pages. So just be aware of everything that you're consuming, as with everything. Be aware of the media that you're consuming, and anything you consume. Vaccines, food, drink, everything.
I would just encourage people to this weekend go out in nature.
Yes.
Without your phone.
Yeah.
And just stand there, smell the grass, smell the dew, feel the warmth of the sun, touch the leaves and plants around. Like, that cannot be replaced by AI. That cannot be replaced. And, you know, if the cities look like that, you'll find me in the hills.
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not just this weekend, every day.
Every day. Well, we're fortunate enough, both of us, to live in the
we are very lucky. And with everything that's coming, we live in a really good place, like in the English countryside. It's nice. We're very, very fortunate. And I'm grateful for it every single day. And all of that could be a simulation. So let's leave that episode there. Bit of a different episode today. Bit of a different, shorter episode for a Thursday, but some interesting and important topics that I think are worth our time to think about. So yeah, please subscribe to the show, share the show with anybody who you think may get some value from it. We are back on YouTube, so please go over there and do subscribe, because like 70% or 80% of people watching on there aren't subscribed. So if you could go and subscribe on YouTube, that would mean the world to us. Any questions for a Q&A, please leave them in the comments on YouTube or send them to us on Instagram at Abandon Average and at Dr. Tom Waller. Tom, have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you next week.
Look forward to it.
Cheers.